Taoist Magic Talk Show brought to you by Taoist Master Ji Sifu and King Dragon Taoism. ผู้亮天尊 Hi everyone, welcome back to the show and Happy New Year everyone. This is your Ji Sifu right here, and today we have a very interesting topic, which is prayers. So a lot of people will say, oh, prayers are useless. You know, when you need help, you pray to God and there's nothing happening. It's all just yourself. Okay. So you don't know about prayers. Okay. Let me explain what prayers are in Taoism and Taoist magic and how can you actually get the help from the gods. Okay. So first step, you need to be related to the God. Taoism is not like an open religion where like, oh, you know, I just feel like it and I'm part of it. It's not like that. You need to find a sect of Taoism and then a master in the sect to accept you as a disciple, and then you go through the ordaining ceremony, and then you become a disciple of that sect. Then you're related to the gods of that sect. Okay, so if you are like ordained into this like ABC sect, right? You only is related to the gods of that sect. You don't go to other temples and then pray to other gods, and even they might also be a Taoism sect, but they're not related to you. So it doesn't work like that. Okay, so all the sects and lineage are separate. They are different. They are not the same thing. It's like different families. Okay, so once you belong to a family, then you can start to learn how to pray in that sect language or that sect method. You know, the method that is exclusively used for that sect. Every sect has their unique way of doing it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my lineage, Tina lineage. Okay, so how we do our stuff and what prayers are actually doing. Prayers is what we call like 禱告. Okay, 禱告. It's well, put it simple, it's like praising the God. Okay, the prayers are like a bunch of things that praise the God, like saying how powerful the God is, what the God power is, like that. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say we need to make up a prayer for, let's say you are a kid and you are going to pray to your mom. Okay, so you'll be saying prayers like, oh, my super mommy, your cooking is so good. You will always cook me good food and I am hungry. You're so powerful. Whenever I have a problem in school, you'll fix my problem. Like that. So what is it doing? You are showing your faith in your mom, right? Now, just replace the word mom with God, okay? Then you understand. You're showing your faith, right? What is faith? By our definition, precisely, faith is to believe, like the kind of belief that you give without the need of any evidence or proof. It's like you have a kid and you say, okay, I have faith in you. You will take care of the house when I'm gone. And then you leave the kid at home. The kid never did it. You just like trust him, right? This kind of trust is like, I don't need to see you do it before. I just believe you, you know, like that. That is called faith. Faith is a blind belief. It's like, I don't need anything to prove it. I just believe. I just commit to it, okay? This is called faith. And faith is a very powerful thing because it is like using your heart energy. And this heart energy can do a lot of things. The heart energy is like the energy of creation in this world. But I mean, like, not like, oh, there's no mountain. I think of a mountain and then boom, mountain is here. Not like that kind of creation. Okay. But the creation energy helps you to make things happen and make things possible. If you have the heart to draw, then you will start drawing. If you don't have the heart to draw, it's like, oh, I don't have feeling for it. And then you won't do it. It's very funny. Like there's a lot of things that you will not have the heart to do it and you really won't do it. Like, oh, today I don't feel like doing a podcast, and then you just sit there the whole morning and you didn't do anything. But once you have the heart energy for it, then you have the feeling for it, then you will start doing it. That makes it possible. And there's a lot of things in your everyday life that you need this kick to make you move. I have seen a lot of disciples. It's like they say, oh, yeah, I need to build my altar. And then like after half a year, they didn't do anything. Why are you like that? Because they don't have enough heart energy. So their like progress is very slow because they just don't have the feeling to kick themselves to do it. It's like that little spark that make it happen, right? You're lacking that, then you will be stuck there forever. Some people like, like student, right? They go to school and they don't have the heart to learn. So what do? They skip classes. They don't want to attend classes, right? This heart energy is so powerful that it affects every day, every one of us. It affects everyone. So when we are doing prayers, the whole ritual or the whole prayer thing you're doing is a way for you to output your heart power, your faith, right? The heart energy to the God's account. You can imagine that God is like a bunch of energy and it has an account, right? When you do the prayer properly, accordingly, you are like investing into the account. So you're not going to like, oh, I need help. Let me pray for God, pray for help. You don't do that. Okay? Like most people think that I need help, then I pray for help. No, you don't. Okay? It's exactly the opposite. You pray when there's nothing like really special going on and you don't need the help. You pray, it's like an investment. You just invest. You don't need anything to come back. Okay, this is the mindset. If you want something to come back and then you pray, then your praying is not investing, right? Okay. But of course, we can always pray for a certain purpose. Like, for example, oh, there's a disaster. Let's do some praying. Okay, that's fine. Or like there's someone's dead. Let's do a praying ritual. Fine. Why? Because you know what you're doing afterward. The praying part, just the prayer, doesn't give you help. That's the key point. Even you're praying for, let's say, this disaster or whatever to be like, this hurdle to get over. It's not like you pray and then the hurdle will be gone. There's no way to do it. Prayer is just an investment. You're investing your heart energy, your faith, into that God's account. Okay, now, why? Because later on or afterward, you will be doing other things such as spells and scriptures and other methods to draw the power from the God. So the God account, like the bank account, right? You have invested before. Now you can take out. Okay, now you might be like, hey, if the God is like so powerful, why does it need my heart energy to like, be able to help me? It should have its own power, right? Okay. Yeah, it's like the God has power. Just like, you look at the stock market, right? All that big company on the listing, they have a lot of money. So why should they be giving you anything? No one should be giving you anything because you haven't invested, right? Once you have invested, then you have contributed, right? Because of that, you have a credit. Now you ask for something, they can give you something according to how much you have been contributing. You see, this is the key point. And like in a human way, you can say it's because you have been building this relationship with the God for a certain period of time, right? That God likes you more and more and more. And the relationship is better and better, right? So because of that, when you ask the God for help using the methods like spells, scriptures, food, and so on, that God will want to give you those help. You see, it's a very human kind of thing, right? Think about how the God is going to feel, right? For example, your mom, okay, you're a kid, you want your mom to help you to like do something. Let's say you want to you want your mom to bring you to a trip this summer, right? You're like a kid and you want to go on a summer trip. So you just ask your mom, can we go there? Your mom's like, no. Right? And then you see, if you do a prayer first, okay, like, oh, my mommy, you're so good. You're like so pretty. You're so smart. You're like whatever, right? You praise your mom a bunch of times and make your mom like smile, make your mom happy, right? Your mom is like, wow, what do you want? And then you're like, oh, I want to go on a trip. Maybe that will be nice. And then your mom, okay, I'll think about it, right? You see, and if you behave well, you know, for a couple of days and you praise her a few times more, she'll get hyped and then she will answer like, yeah, okay, we'll go, right? Like that. So the God is like that too, right? So when you invest your heart energy enough, then the God will be able to give you more and more help when you use the other method to draw the power out. Spells are like a quick command. Okay, when you use spells in Taoism, it's like a quick command. I just draw the power from the God and then use it for something like really quick stuff. Scriptures, they are like a long version of the spell, okay, but it has a lot more complexity to it. So, what are scriptures? Well, let's say scripture is kind of like for example, okay, you have a book, a story, a whole story, okay? That can be a scripture. Why? Well, the whole story talks about the whole experience of something. For example, you are worshiping ABC God, and then there's this book about ABC God going through like 36 hurdles. And then inside the 36 hurdle, the God did this and did this and did this and then fixed this problem, fixed that problem. Okay, so the whole book talked about like a lot of things that God can do and so on, right? When you do the scripture, you chant the whole book. It's like you're channeling down the God's power and shaping it, and like you're making that complex power to make it into like a big pool of energy to resolve some similar problems. So the pattern of that energy will be programmed to be able to fix that problem that you're facing at the moment. So if the problem matches what your scripture is for, then it will be there. It will be working. But scripture is a lot more complex than that. If you actually learn in the lineage, I can explain more. But so far, you can just get it as like scripture and spell. They're like asking the God for help. And spells are short versions, scriptures are longer. Okay, just like that. Now, prayers should be done often. Yeah, and on the God's anniversary day, you should do the prayer for that God, like of that God. And prayers, if you are in the lineage learning, you can actually do prayers in other languages and also write your own prayers if you have learned enough to do that. That's fine. It's not like a spell where like the words are programmed into the system. Prayers can be also created by the people as well, like the believers or the practitioner. Okay, you can create it. But the main point of the prayer is that you're praising the God. Even you don't understand the words when you're like doing the chanting, it's fine because you just need to know the purpose, the intention, which is you're praising the God. You're like inside your heart, you should feel grateful and feel like the God is powerful, that kind of feeling. When you have that feeling, your prayers are going to work. So when do you know if your prayers are being answered? Okay, this is a common mistake. Like people think that you pray and then it's like you're submitting a request so that you need an answer. You know, it's not like that. Prayers are just a pure investment. You do prayers daily and maybe routinely every like 2 weeks or something, right? You do the prayers as an investment to put your faith into the God. That's it. No answer, nothing coming back. if you want something to come back from the God side, then you need to learn the magic. You're doing the fool, the scripture, the spell, and all these things to channel down the God's power. So you don't need to wait for the God to answer you, because when you do these magic with the spells, scriptures, and such, you are already directly getting the power from the God. There's no wait time. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm waiting for the answer from the God. You don't need to. Okay, Taoists, we are not like that. We just immediately do the magic and then draw the power out. There you go. Now, if the God likes you and you have a lot of credit in the God side, then you can draw the power and it will become more powerful. If you are a newbie and you don't really have a relationship built much, then the power you get is not going to be like that big. So when we do ceremonies, for example, like if we're doing a funeral ceremony for someone, okay, well, that's why a newbie or like a newbie disciple or even a believer, they cannot do it on their own because they haven't built that much credit in the God's heart. So even they're chanting the same thing, doing the same ritual as I do, it's not going to work that much because the God's like, I don't know you. Like your relationship with the God is so shallow. So when you do the magic, the God cannot give you that much power to help you, like help the dead one to like transition over and all that stuff. It will not work. So you need someone with like a good credit, high credit in the system, right? So like me, who do the practice, do the prayer all the time, and well, I have accumulate much more in the pool up there than you. Then when I do the magic, I have the quota to take more, right? That's why. So prayers, you must do prayers like even if not daily, just every 2 weeks or every time when it's like a God anniversary, right? There's always like an announcement or something from us that tells you, oh, there's this God anniversary, and then we have this book with the prayers and full head and everything, right? You get the book and you learn the prayer and start chanting it, right? Every anniversary, it's like the God's birthday. So why not, make use of the opportunity and praise the God and invest into the God, right? And also, if you are requesting something, like, okay, I want to request this God for help, for finding a job, right? If you are going to request the God for help, you will be like requesting a fool or maybe doing a spell or something like that to channel in the power, right? Now think about it. Before you actually do that, you should do the prayer first, like praise the God first, and then now the God is hype about you and you got the credit built, then you do the magic or request a fool. Now that help will come in much better. Even for clients or believers, right? They can also do prayers. They can learn the prayers. So if like, let's say this client want help for his exorcism case, okay? And since it's a client, I will say always focus on the main God. So you can the client can do the Samlo Josie prayer and learn to do that daily for a while. And then, we will do the ceremony. Now the God is like, oh, I know you for a while because you have been chanting the prayer and doing that for a while. Okay, now we do the ceremony. We ask the God to help and bring down power. Wow, a lot more power brought down. Compared to like we haven't done any prayers, the whole magic is going to be much weaker because that person have not much credit in the God's heart. So prayers are just a pure investment. If you want the help, you don't need to wait. You want the help, you use spells, full scriptures, and all kinds of methods to bring the God's power down. And that's why a lot of people don't understand Taoist prayers and like they don't know why you actually have to pray. And I'm telling you, if you want your magic to work, you need to pray. And praying is not asking for help. It's a pure investment, and every Taoist should do it. It's like a daily practice. You should do it. And don't forget, there's an open prayer and a closing prayer that sandwich the main prayer so that you have to like open account, close account, right? Like that. Open and close. Okay? So Anyway, time's up for today. Happy New Year, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode. Remember to share, subscribe, like. Bye bye.